Who is the Springboks best under 25 XV currently in South Africa? Well, in this video, I'm going to be listing my top 23 players currently under 25 in South Africa in a kind of team sheet. So there's going to be 1 to 23. It's going to be a very exciting list, and this list might just make Springbok fans a bit more kind of calm about the future. I know a lot of fans maybe are worried about what happens when these guys like Eben Etzebeth and Siya Kolisi retire. Well, all I can say is that the Springboks right now have a really good group of under 25 players. Starting off with number 1, Jan-Hendrik Wessels. I think he's only 24 years old right now. He can play either hooker or prop, but he is definitely one of the best players under 25 currently for the Springboks. A phenomenal rugby player, and I see a really bright future for him in the Springbok jersey. He's been playing quite a lot off the bench, and I think he's going to be a very key part of the bomb squad going forward into the 2027 World Cup for the Springboks. He can play prop, he can play hooker, he could probably stick on the loose forwards as well. He's a really mobile forward, and he's definitely one to watch for the future as well. Moving on to number 2 is a guy that plays for the Stormers. He's been really good at line-out time recently. Andre Igufenta. Him and Jan-Hendrik Wessels played in the same grey college team back in, I think, 2019. So they've come through the system together. They know each other through and through. So he's been a really good player recently for the Stormers. His line-out throws have been very accurate. And that's the one thing that the kind of coaches from the Springboks really look for, is that kind of set-piece consistency, set-piece accuracy. We've seen players dropped in the past for not being accurate at line-out time. But I think Andre Igufenta is one of the most accurate players currently in South Africa in the hooker position. I think he probably will get a call up this year. I don't know how many games we'll play, but I think for these guys that are young, that are getting called up, it's just more about getting experience within the squad setup, kind of understanding the system, because these guys after the 2027 World Cup, some of the guys that maybe won't feature in the World Cup after 2027 will really feature heavily, because the next World Cup is 2031, and you know how kind of Rusty and those coaches work. They want to get players above that 10 caps, above those 15 caps, and maybe get some guys around the 50 cap mark by then. So it would be really good to see some of these players after the 2027 World Cup really feature a lot more, and I think they will. Number 3 on this list, Zachary Porton, a guy that we've already seen in the Springbok jersey, and to be honest, he really impressed me. I didn't know what to really expect from him when he was playing against Japan and those teams last year, but you could just see that the players like him. He's a good guy to have in the squad. He's a very humble guy as well. He did captain the under-20 Springboks, so he is a natural leader. It's always good to have natural leaders kind of available if they are playing at a high level. So Zachary Porton definitely finishes my starting front row for the current Springboks under-25 XV. Moving on to the locks. Now the locks, this is where it gets a bit different, because I don't think right now, if you're talking under 25 players in South Africa, that the lock stocks for South Africa are at their best all time. I will say there probably will be a few guys that show up. There might be a few guys that play different positions that could be more versatile enough to move to the lock position. But in the number 4 jersey, I've gone for Corne Roll, a guy that's still a youngster at the Sharks. He's a huge person. Like, he's a huge individual. He's physical. He's very versatile. He's mobile as well. He's a very kind of explosive forward. I'd like to see him maybe get a bit more game time for the Sharks, but every time I have seen him play, he's been really good in the Sharks jersey. So he could also be a guy that we could see in the Springbok jersey or within the outer Springbok squad going forward to kind of get these guys ready for the next World Cup, the next cycle as well. The next player on this list, JF van Heerden from the Bulls, an ex-Grey College boy as well. He's been really good at under 20 level. He's been good for the Bulls as well. He hasn't maybe featured that much recently, but he also has kind of been given the responsibility as the kind of line-out operator at the Bulls every time he has played there, and he's done quite well. He is the kind of size of Kobus Wisse and these guys already, so he has that size of the international level players. I think for him, it's just about getting more experience at URC level, Champions Cup level, and then obviously eventually at international level, because he's a really good player right now. And to be honest, Corne Roll and JF van Heerden as a lock combination is not bad for an under 25 kind of Springbok XV. So the forward pack is looking quite strong right now. The number 6 jersey though goes to Cameron Hanekom. Yes, he is an 8th man for the Bulls, but I think number 6 could honestly be a good position for him going forward, and it will make more sense going forward into the video. But this loose trio right now that I'm going to be selecting here is really strong, and I think the loose trio, the loose forward stocks in South Africa right now, especially with those guys in between the years of 22 to 25 years old, is really strong right now. Now Ivan Roos was going to be on this list, but he does turn 26 this year, so he kind of falls out of that contention for the list. It's only guys that are turning 25 this year and younger. So I mean, having a guy like Cameron Hanekom on this list just shows that the future of South African rugby is really bright. Moving on to number 7, I've gone for a guy that played for the Sharks, has now moved to the Lions. He's a bit of the talk of the town right now. He's a very popular player amongst probably all the youngsters in South Africa. Batso Tlekani, a really good player right now. He's kind of showing that he is ready for that international level, playing very good at URC level, and him and Ruan Venter together in the same loose trio would be absolutely absolute fireworks, and it is fireworks right now for the Lions. I think Batos Lekani's come a long way. He didn't get that much game time for the Sharks, but at the Lions, he's getting a lot more game time. And I think he would be absolutely perfect for a Springbok call-up one day. He's already been included in the squads this year. Could we see him maybe get a cap later this year? If the Springboks do send a more inexperienced team to the Northern Hemisphere this year, I fully do expect him to play. He's been in the system now for the last few years. Even last year when he was 19, he got called up already. He's been with the under-20s now for 2 years. And I think right now might be the right time to kind of give him that exposure to the senior squad, just to see how he does with the squad. He might not play this year, he might not play next year, but I think after 2027 going forward, he's going to have a very pivotal role in the squad. Whether it's starting lineup, whether it's bench, whether it's just within the outer squad, he's still going to have a very pivotal role. Moving on to number 8 jersey, and a guy I am so excited about for his future, Ruan Venter, a really good player for the Lions. He can play 8, he can play 7, he can play 6, he can play lock. I think his best position is number 8 or number 7. For the rest of the world, that is number 6, but for South Africa, that is number 7. I think that probably is his future kind of position going forward. I think honestly maybe by 2031 we'll be seeing guys like loose trios, maybe with the bench as well. We'll see Hanekom, Batos Lekani, Ruan Venter, Ivan Roos, Elrich Low, Mpilo Gomede, Pepsi Buthelezi, Vincent Chichuka. All these guys that are now inexperienced players will by then be the experienced players ready for the World Cup. And doesn't that just sound so exciting? All these players I'm mentioning right now, they've been really kind of the big dogs as well at URC level, but can they kind of transfer that form to international level? I think we're going to see them get a chance this year, but that just is going to be absolutely exciting. Seeing Ruan Venter playing for the Springboks one day, that's going to be really good to see. Can you imagine a loose trio of Cameron Hanekom, Batos Lekani and Ruan Venter? They could probably play for the Springboks right now and they'd do a pretty good job. So under 25 team, pretty good right now. Moving on to the number 9 position, this was a bit of a no-brainer from how he's performed at under 20 level. Hashim Peed, he's been really good every single time he's been given the opportunity with the under 20s. He's been good for the Lions as well, off the bench. I'd like to see him maybe get a few more starts. He hasn't actually played that many minutes of senior level rugby for the Lions. He's done well every single time off the bench. He maybe is becoming very comfortable playing off the bench as an impact player, which is why we might see him in a Springbok jersey this year, maybe make a few 15 or 10 minute cameos from the bench, and he might just make a good impact. Do I think he's ready to start right now for the Springboks? No. Do I think he'll be ready after the 2027 World Cup? Absolutely. And I think he'll get a lot more opportunities then. There's some really good players still. I mean, Keanu Everson, you've got Jaden Hendricks still, he's playing some good rugby. And I think Grant Williams will still get a few more goes going throughout the years. And maybe Embrus Papir might get a call up. So the scrum of stocks are really good right now. But for my under 25 Springboks team, Hashim P gets my number 9 jersey. Moving on to number 10, and it's pretty much a no-brainer. Sasha Ngomazulu, he is the fly-off starting right now for the Springboks. So it's just a no-brainer that he's going to start for my under 25 team. I think he turns 24 this year, so he's still a young guy. He still has a lot more years left in his career. I think the last few kind of weeks or months, he's kind of dipped in form a bit with the Stormers team. Obviously, the pack isn't as dominant. It's a bit of a different style of rugby they play. I do think he does suit the Springbok style quite well, and I think when he's surrounded by the other big time players, it does bring out the best of him and kind of push him to the best of his ability. So he's still one of my favorite players, one of the best fly-offs in the world already, and he's only been playing international rugby for 2 years, so that is absolutely incredible. Moving on to number 11, and my future player that I think is going to be the next Brian Abana, the guy I am the most excited to see on this list play for the Springboks one day, maybe even this year. He is such a special talent. He still has one under 20 World Cup left. Cheswell Uester runs 100 meters in 11.7 seconds, one of the fastest rugby players in the world, and that speed does kind of transfer. It really translates well onto the field. He's got good sidestepping ability. He's good with those kind of looping runs as well. He's physical. He always makes dominant tackles. He's a very good decision maker on defense. Maybe needs to get better under the high ball, but his athletic ability kind of does help him out there because he jumps higher than everyone else, which we've seen as well from the likes of a Kurtley Orense and a Cheslin Colby. But I'm so excited to see Cheswell Uester potentially get an opportunity for the Springboks this year. I think he would make such a good impact, and I think if he is surrounded by those players getting the ball in the right opportunities on the field, we could be seeing some 80 meter, 70 meter tries from him. Especially if it's a straight sprint race between him and someone else. That would be really fun to see. And I would love to see a Louis Beale-Barry versus Cheswell Uester foot race. That would be absolute cinema to see. And I think it would be pretty close as well. At number 12, I've gone for Lorenzo Julius. Now, he's been given a lot of hype over the last few years. And I think deservedly so. Honestly, I do think deservedly so. I'm very excited about his future in South African rugby. I don't think he's ready for a Springbok call-up yet. I think he's ready to get called up to the squad, but to play, I'm not too sure. Maybe they can chuck him in the deep end and he'll honestly show a lot of good signs of being ready for international rugby, but I don't think everybody really knows what his strongest position is yet. I don't think he's a wing with his power, his kind of ability to beat defenders on the contact line. I think he is a 12. I don't think he's a 13 because I think guys like Ethan Hooker or Kane Moody are probably better suited to the 13 jersey. That being said, I think the future Sharks combination is Lorenzo Julius at 12 and Ethan Hooker at 13. And that is very exciting to think about. I think the Sharks have a very bright future if they start blooding their young players, which they have been doing very well again under JP Peterson. But I just think Lorenzo Julius, for the future for him, number 12 is the position he should be looking at. But he's going to get some very stiff competition down the line because you have guys like Ethan Adams coming through. You have guys as well that have been playing over the last few years, playing some really good rugby. But I do think one day he will be ready for international rugby. I just think right now there probably are guys that are maybe performing a bit better than him. But I think the number one thing that needs to happen with Lorenzo Julius is he needs to play more rugby for the Sharks, because every single time he plays for the Sharks, gets some good game time opportunities. He's playing very well. He also needs to maybe kind of become a bit more injury free, which you can't really say, oh, he's got to be a bit more injury free, because these things happen, especially with how hard he plays. But I'd like to see Lorenzo Julius get through an entire season playing in the number 12 jersey, especially maybe for the Curry Cup or from the bench for the URC team. Because I think right now the Sharks centre pair of Easthuizen and Ethan Hooker definitely is their strongest. I don't think moving Ethan Hooker to the wing and putting Lorenzo Julius at 13 actually makes the Sharks better. I think Lorenzo Julius playing in the number 12 position going forward when Easthuizen isn't available with Hooker on the 13 jersey might be a bit better. But Lorenzo Julius is a phenomenal player. I'm really excited to see how he does going forward. I just think he maybe needs a little bit more time, but he's got so much potential and he could honestly be a game changer for the Springboks going forward. Moving on to the number 13 jersey is a guy that I think has already proven himself at international level, a very good player, and I think he's honestly better suited to the number 13 jersey than he is to the wing position. Ethan Hooker, one of the best young players in world rugby right now. He oozes class. He's got a composed head on his shoulders. He's physical. He's a game winner, and he just plays like a Springbok rugby player. I was going to put Kane Moody in the number 13 jersey, but you'll kind of understand why I've put him in the number 14 jersey. But saying Ethan Hooker and Kane Moody and Sasha and Ngomazulu are in your under 25 Springbok backline is actually kind of crazy if you think of how far these guys can go in the future. So there's some really big names here already that have kind of established how good they are at senior level, at international level, and this team looks like it could be really good in the future. So Ethan Hooker, for me, he is a 13. We've seen it at the Sharks. I'd love to see Andre Easthuizen and Ethan Hooker get kind of more game time together for the Springboks in the centre jerseys. Maybe if the Springboks do send a more inexperienced or weaker team, don't think that exists really, to the Northern Hemisphere at the end of the year, I'd love to see Andre Easthuizen at 12 and Ethan Hooker at number 13, just to give them some more game time, some more opportunities. I do think both of them might have a kind of pivotal role to play against the All Blacks, whether it's from the bench. Maybe Easthuizen will be that kind of hybrid on the bench. Maybe Ethan Hooker might not play all the games if all the guys are available, but I think after 2027, you have to play Ethan Hooker in the number 13 jersey, because right now he kind of looks a bit more like a like-for-like replacement with Jesse Creel, and maybe Ethan Hooker down the line could even add even more special things. He's good under the high ball, yes, but he's very physical, he's a good decision maker, he's very fast, he's really good with his defensive reads, and he just is a big time player. So he's definitely one to watch for the number 13 jersey going forward. And I think we're going to see a lot more of Ethan Hooker in the number 13 jersey for the Springboks. Moving on to number 14, I've already spoken about him, Kane Moody, a phenomenal player, a World Cup winner, a very good outside centre as well, but I think his best position is on the right wing. Very good defensively on the right wing. He's very comfortable in that position. He's good under the high ball. He's a very good defensive winger. Makes some big shots. He makes some big reads as well. Maybe we will see Ethan Hooker at 12 with Kane Moody at 13 in the near future for the Springboks, but I just think Ethan Hooker at 13 with Kane Moody on the wing will be the absolute strongest backline you can do. So that's just what I think. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Where do you think Ethan Hooker's best position is? Where do you think Kane Moody's best position is? And also, where do you think Lorenzo Julius's best position is as well? Because all these guys do have a future within Springboks. It just depends where. Also, my kind of thought process around Ethan Hooker in the number 13 jersey is I honestly believe Damian Willemse is going to move to number 12 for the next World Cup. Remember, he's only going to be 33 by the 2031 World Cup, so he still has a lot more time left in his career. I do think Apelele Fassi right now is playing good enough to kind of give himself that 15 jersey going forward if they move Damian Willemse to the 12 jersey, just to kind of accommodate having your best players on the field. Can you imagine a backline now? Number 9 going forward after the 2027 World Cup, Grant Williams, 10 Sasha and Ngomazulu, 11 Cheswell Uesta, or even Curtly Orange is still. Number 12, you have Damian Willemse, number 13, Ethan Hooker, number 14, Kanan Moody, and number 15, Apalele Farsi. That is a phenomenal backline, and that's kind of an already established international backline that would do really well. And to be honest, a lot of people that are scared about the future, just keep in mind how many young guys have been playing and bringing in some big performances and kind of showing that they have a big role within the team already. I mean, think about the forwards, Ruan Nurkia and those guys. They're not old either. They are maybe older than these guys that are under 25, but they've still got another World Cup in them as well. So I think the kind of next phase of Springbok rugby after the 2027 World Cup, before 2031, is going to be extremely exciting. And most of these guys in this team are going to make it to the 2035 World Cup as well, because they're all going to be 33 by then, or even younger than that, 30 to 33, which is absolutely crazy to think about. They've still got a lot of time left. But moving on to number 15 on this list, I will still be doing a bench as well, so stay tuned for that. Number 15, Kewan Horn, a really composed, quality player. I think that's the one word to really describe Kewan Horn, is quality. He just oozes quality. His left foot, he's very good. He's got a very technical boot, a very technical brain. He's physical. He's a really underrated ball carrier and try scorer as well. 10 to 15 meters out, standing behind the scrum. He's a very dangerous threat as well. That's how he scored his first try for the Springboks as well, against Portugal. A really good try. He's very good around those areas of the field. I do think he will play some more Springbok rugby going forward, and he's definitely one to watch that maybe isn't spoken about enough. But moving on to the bench, this is where it gets a bit more difficult. I think there'll be a few more youngsters on this list, but this just shows how exciting the future of Springboks rugby really is. In the number 16 position, I've gone for Isetu Mnebelele, the under 20 hooker from last year. He's still going to be playing under 20 this year. He recently signed a contract with the Sharks, which I think was a very good move for him, because if you look at the Bulls kind of the stocks right now at hooker, they've got a lot of guys that can play hooker, a lot of guys that are extending contracts, and I think for Isetu Mnebelele right now, it's important for him to get as much game time as possible. He doesn't want to be just learning from the guys around him. He is still going to learn when he gets into the Springbok setup. But I think just like Cheswell Uesta, Isetu Mnebelele is one of those guys that are ready to play at that level now. He's ready to play. He's ready to start getting more game time and showing what he can do to the selectors as well. He's a very good line-out thrower. He's a leader as well. He's a very good player, and he's a very humble player as well. He's definitely one to watch for the future, and I'm really excited about Isetu Mnebelele for the future. I think at the Sharks, he'll do really well under JP Peterson. He'll learn from guys like Bongi and Banambi, Feza Mbata as well. I think he'll play a lot more rugby as well with how they kind of rest and rotate their players at the Sharks. So I think Isetu Mnebelele at the Sharks is really going to take his rugby career from here to here. So I'm really excited about what he can do there. I'm not normally excited for front row players from South Africa, because obviously I like the backline players, I like the loose forward players, but Isetu Mnebelele is a player that I'm extremely excited about going forward, and he's only 19 years old as well. Moving on to number 17 is a guy that's been playing for the Sharks recently, been putting up some very good performances. You can see he's kind of learning every single week. Patu Ganyane, old Glenwood boy as well, he's definitely one to watch for the future, but right now he's a perfect guy to have on this under 25 Springbok list from the bench, because I think Jan Hendrik Wessels right now probably is the number one prop on this list, the number one loose forward, maybe even one of the number one forwards on this list. But I think honestly Patu Ganyane's had a really good season this year, and I think he's just going to develop going forward. He's obviously learned from Trevor Nyakane, learned from Oxen Chase, been learning from all these guys, and the one thing I've been noticing about him from the start of the year, where the scrum would just be going backwards the whole time, he's kind of slowly been getting more and more scrum penalties going for him. So that's really good to see. I did think he had a bit of a coming of age moment against Volkulo when the Bulls played the Sharks at the Tank. That was a very tough beating they took in the scrum. I saw them chatting after the game as well. So he obviously learned a lot that game, and I think he's going to learn a lot more going forward, especially from these guys in the setup. But he's definitely one that's caught my eye as a really good player this year. Moving on to number 18 is a guy that plays for the Bulls, played for the under 20 Springboks last year. I think he's back with the under 20 Springboks this year again. Jean Erasmus, a really good prop player, very good around the park, good ball carrier, kind of a very versatile player as well. He's one to definitely watch for the future, and I think honestly a lot of people don't even probably know who Jean Erasmus is, but he's definitely one to watch for the future. He's a big boy, he's a very good ball carrier, and he's one I'm very excited about as well. Moving on to number 19 on this list, a guy that people were probably expecting to be in my starting lineup at lock. I just think he's got a few more years to go. He probably, before JF van Heerden and Corner Roll, will probably get a Springbok call-up just because of his leadership. I mean, he was the under-20 captain last year for the junior Springboks, and he was only 19 years old. He will definitely be the captain again this year. Riley Norton, a phenomenal leader, a phenomenal player, a good line-out operator as well, which is very important for the Springboks, a very physical player, and a really high work rate player. He kind of reminds me of a Franco Mostert, Ruan Nortje kind of player, which is very important to have in the engine room of a team. You can't just have 8 Eben Etzebeth running around or 8 Jasper Wessels running around. You need to have the guys that will do those really hard clean outs, get the ball going forward, good at line out operations, and I think he is the perfect guy for that in the future. Moving on to number 20 on this list is a guy that's absolutely come through in the last few weeks, and I did watch his other highlights from under 20, from when he was in high school and stuff as well, and he's firmly one of the best guys to watch for the future. A loose forward, Siba Mahashe from the Lions. If you saw one of his highlights the last few weeks, I think it was against Edinburgh or was against the Dragons, scoring some incredible individual tries, setting up some incredible individual tries as well. A really good player to watch in the future. And I think probably in this whole list, the loose forwards were the most difficult to choose because there's so many loose forwards coming through. I mean, there's guys, Wandile Mlaba as well from the Stormers. There's many guys, Keke Marabe as well from the Stormers. There's so many guys coming through the ranks that are really kind of going to be world-class loose forwards that it was so difficult to choose. But I think just based on recent form, Siba Mahashe has to be on this list. He's a phenomenal player, still under 25 years old as well. And I think the reason why I said under 25 is because I think scientifically or just in general, you only really reach your kind of athletic or physical prime from 25 onwards. So these guys still have room to improve physically in their kind of positions as well, and just tactically as well, and they're all playing really good rugby right now. So for all these guys, of course there's room for improvement. There's room for improvement for every single player in the world, but all these guys are just playing some really good rugby right now. So number 20, Siba Mahashe. Moving on to number 21, I've gone for JJ Taron, a guy that probably isn't spoken about enough, which I rate really highly. He was part of the under 20 group last year. He can play lock, he can play loose forward, a very versatile player. He plays for the Bulls right now as well. I think he was the Grey College head boy or the captain for Grey College back in the day, so he is a leader. You can see he was one of the main leaders in the under 20 team last year as well. A phenomenal rugby player, a really good kind of strong rugby player. He's got a composed head on his shoulders, and I think he's definitely one to watch going forward, because if you think Springbok rugby, you kind of have a kind of style of player in mind, and I think his kind of style really fits the mold of Springbok rugby really well. So JJ Taron is definitely one to watch for the future. It's going to be very tough for him to get game time at the Bulls. I think a lot of these guys will probably get a lot more game time at Currie Cup level, but I mean, still, JJ Taron, a very bright future ahead. Moving on to the two backline players in Springbok style, I've gone for a 6-2 split on the bench. Moving on to number 22, I've gone for Imad Khan. Now, people will probably think he right now is better than Hashim Peed. He probably is. Honestly, he's playing some really good rugby this year. I think they're a year or 2 years apart in age. He's playing some very good rugby. Imad Khan, a phenomenal rugby player. I do think he has a future in the Springbok jersey as well. Playing some very good rugby in the Stormers, getting some man of the match performances, playing some full games as well. For me, Hashim Peed and Imad Khan are probably kind of in their own world right now compared to the other guys. I think Keanu Everson as well is just there. He's really close. Niku Steyn as well, some phenomenal young scrum offs. But I think Imad Khan deserves to be on this list. He's a very good player. Become a lot better with that kind of tactical senior level game with his box kicks. He's bulked up, but he looks a lot more physical right now as well. And he kind of is showing that for the Stormers. I think he's slowly becoming the second choice at the Stormers. Probably when Kobus Reinach retires, I think Imad Khan will be the number 9 for the Stormers going forward. So he's definitely one to watch, and I think he'll have a very bright future in the Springbok jersey as well. Moving on to number 23 is a guy that plays flower for the Sharks. A guy that also is under 25, and I couldn't believe it as well. Jordan Hendrickson, a very good player. He's had a good season this year. I think last year he kind of struggled maybe with the whole John Plumtree game plan, playing him out of position all the time. I think right now he is a fly half. He's not a fullback. He's kind of getting a bit more settled and comfortable in the fly half jersey as well. I just couldn't start him on this list because Sasha Ngomazulu is right now years ahead of every single other person in his position right now in South Africa. So I think Sasha Ngomazulu in the number 10 jersey, and Jordan Hendrickson in the number 23 jersey. But I mean, he's got a massive boot. He's played international rugby before, and he looked really good in the Springbok jersey against Wales. So he's definitely one that I think will get more game time going forward. And both him and his brother are not old by any means and playing much better rugby this year. So it's good to see that. Yes, that is my current best Springbok team for under 25 players right now. I'll go through it one more time. Number 1, Jan Hendrik Wessels. Number 2, Andre Igufente. Number 3, Zachary Porton. Number 4, Corne Raal. Number 5, JF van Heerden. Number 6, Cameron Hanekom. Number 7, Bato Tlekani. Number 8, Ruan Venter. What a loose trio. Number 9, Hashim P. Number 10, Sasha Ngomazulu. Number 11, Cheswell Uesta, the guy I'm probably the most excited about in this entire list. Number 12, Drenzo Julius. Number 13, Ethan Hooker. Number 14, I've gone for Kanan Moody. Number 15, Kewan Horn. Number 16, Isetu Mnebelele. Number 17, Patu Ganyane. Number 18, Johnny Rasmus. Number 19, Riley Norton. Number 20, Siba Mahashe. Number 21, JJ Taron. Number 22, Imad Khan. And number 23, Jordan Hendrickson. So if you guys did enjoy that content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to help the channel grow. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. I want to hear all your thoughts about it. Give me your team list as well. Let me know if I'm missing out any players. There's so many players to kind of pick from. Maybe I did miss one out, but let me know in the comments down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.